are illustrations that have animation imbued into them. These moving illustrations are commonly seen in anime games, music videos, and wallpapers. I, for one, have really liked this method of animation, and after spending 20 hours learning live 2D and making 2 VTuber models back to back, I logged onto my favorite gacha game for a break and I noticed something. Live 2D.
Wait a minute!
The first thing I needed to do was choose an image to animate, and since I'm a base Giga Chad, I decided to go with everyone's favorite anime trap.
Astolfo!
If you want, you could draw your own image, but I'm kind of burnt out from creating back-to-back VTuber models, so I'll be taking a lazy route. I'll be using Clip Studio Paint for separating limbs and Live 2D for the animation, but Clip Studio Paint is easily replaceable by Krita, Photoshop, or anything with layer management. Based on my previous VTuber creating experience, the first thing I needed to do was separate all the limbs into different layers using the lasso tool. Here is a basic diagram of what the different layers usually like, and here is how I divided the hair, not including the fact that I had to separate almost every single hair strand into its own layer. I separate the eyes like this, and if you see me switch up the iris and the pupil in naming the layers, it's because for some reason, I cannot remember which is which. At the end, this is what my layers look like. I didn't have too many layers or too little layers, and usually the amount of layers you have depends on how complex you want to make the animation. More layers means you can move more parts around individually, and less layers means you have less freedom in this aspect. For me, I just wanted a simple swaying animation, so I didn't divide the clothing up too much. The second step was to repaint all the limbs, but what does this mean? After dividing everything into their own layers, there are going to be some transparent spots. For example, in this original art piece, this hair strand is covering the arm and the back of Astolfo, so I had to repaint them because in the animation, the hair strand would move out of the way, revealing the transparent sections. I had to do this for pretty much every single layer that I made because of how Astolfo has a lot of overlapping body parts like his arms, his ribbons, and his hair. This is arguably one of the longer sections because there are just so many things to account for. After finishing this section, make sure to upload your final as a PSD format so that it is readable by Live 2D. The third step in this process is rigging, and this is where it gets a lot easier and more fun in my opinion. I already have some experience in Live 2D as mentioned before, and most of my knowledge comes from this person's series of Live 2D tutorials, so be sure to check that out if you're looking for a good place to start. In Live 2D, there are only about 4 themes that I actually use, adding vertices, mesh deformers, rotational deformers, and control points. Control points allow you to displace the vertices around, and rotational deformers allow you to rotate layers. I end up adding control points for nearly everything, not that I need to, but they're just nice to have. These are what my finalized deformers look like, and as you can see, I have rotational deformers for most of the main limbs like the torsos, arms, and legs because they rotate, yeah. I guess this could be considered the animation phase already, because I'm just changing some of the parameters of Live 2D and rotating the meshes accordingly. The final step is to add keyframes to all the parameters in Live 2D's animation program, which is the most satisfying part because you get to see everything start coming into place. And while it's unfortunate that it lasted the least amount of time, in the end it was worth it. This whole process took about 6 hours, and here's the finalized GIF, which lasts for about 13 seconds. And I'm honestly pretty proud of this after doing this for the first time. It gives the same vibes as some of the other animations I've seen before, and that was what I was going for. In my next video, I attempt to make music for the first time ever and even get my hands on Hatsune Miku. If you want to see how I did so and what my learning process was, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.